The views and opinions of this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers. There is substantial risk of loss in trading futures and options, which you should carefully consider prior to trading.
Make sure to subscribe to the Market Talk YouTube channel. You can watch our latest interviews with top market analysts in the country, find bonus content, and much more. It's easy. Just go to youtube.com/@MarketTalkAg and hit the subscribe button. Or you can search for Market Talk Ag on YouTube.
And coming to you live today from the National Farm Machinery Show in Louisville, Kentucky. Happy to be here on the grounds at the Kentucky Exposition Center for another great show, and happy to have you along for the conversation here on Market Talk. I'm your host, Jesse Allen. We are with our friends at Geringhoff today here on the trade show floor. I'm really excited. Special thanks to them for having us here at the show today. We are going to be talking about a lot of their great products, history of the company, and more here during the program today. Also, we're going to go over the markets, kind of another sea of red in grains on the day here on Thursday, with pressure building in soybeans and wheat. That commodity deflation type of mindset continues to be the overall theme in the markets. We're going to talk with Brian Doherty from Total Farm Marketing. He's going to join us coming up after the bottom of the hour in segment 3 to give us some thoughts and market analysis here on the show today. I mentioned, though, we're with our friends at Geringhoff, and pleased to have with me the president of Geringhoff, Bill Dickhout, is with us. Bill, great to talk with you. Thanks for joining us here, or thanks for letting us join you here at the National Farm Machinery Show. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you. And thank you for having me, Jesse.
Well, let's just start with kind of an overview of the company. I know a lot of folks know Geringhoff. They use your products. They've seen your products and more. But give us, just for starters, a little bit of a background and history on the company, if you can.
Yeah, Geringhoff is a German company. It was founded in the 1880s. So we've been in the marketplace, 144 years. Yeah. So I guess a score of years. It started as a smaller company, a smithy, making different products. They came to fame over 100 years ago for making threshing machines that were first pulled by horses and then pulled by tractors. In the 50s, they started on front-end equipment for combines for harvesting, corn pickers, as well as grain tables. In the 80s, they became a lot more famous, especially for larger heads and folding heads, which was really very important for the European market, because the field size was so small that you'd harvest maybe 10 or 20 acres or even less, and then move on to the next field. So folding the head was very, very beneficial to not have to hang the head on and off of the combine. So in the 2000s, Geringhoff entered into the United States market with a distributor and an importer, and primarily with our corn head, and it came off very well. The market accepted the product very well. It's a bullet-proof corn head, also the folding function, and then also the wider sizes. And it seems like the corn heads have continually gotten wider, and with the number of row units has increased, as the combines have also increased. We also started our own business in the States in 2012. We have a manufacturing facility in the U.S. in St. Cloud, Minnesota, so that we're closer to our markets, that we can be more flexible, especially in the season, so that people can get products and not have to worry about getting something from overseas from our headquarters in Germany. Sure. Today in the States, we offer our corn heads, a lot of different brands or types. We'll be talking about that a little bit, as well as our draper, where we've got a high performance product where we're delivering on that expectation from Geringhoff, high performance product and a quality product. Right now in 2024, the company is still a family owned company. It's in the 5th generation. The family is also very involved in the business, and so we understand, family businesses also are farmers, and what those needs are, and what the thought processes are to give it on to the next generations.
Well, I appreciate the background and the history, and you said something in there that really piqued my interest, and I think this could set us up to talk about some of the products and where things are at here in 2024. And we're going to talk a lot about adaptive flex technology here today on the show. You know, you mentioned how corn heads, other pieces of equipment getting bigger, having that flexibility and the different technologies available to make transportation easier, but yet make things more efficient in the field during harvest time, etc. Those things are so important to the farmer here in 2024, aren't they, Bill?
Oh yeah, definitely.
I mean, think about that a little bit, and let's rope that into terms of adaptive flex technology. Let's talk about that a little bit. When I hear that term, what does that mean in terms of the products that Geringhoff has?
Okay, well, it's corn head, and it goes exactly down that vein. So how do you get bigger equipment into the field? Because the field is going to depend upon not just the size of the field, but also the topography. And so the AFT, the Adaptive Flex Technology head that we have, it's a corn head, but it's articulated in the middle. So that means that it's got a left wing and a right wing, and those wings can both go up and down based upon the terrain. So they're actively lifting up and pushing down with hydraulic, or letting down with hydraulic cylinders. And what's interesting there, and I'm sure a lot of our customers have this issue, is that in some of the fields, they can harvest with a 16 row for most of it.
True.
But not all of it. So then they have to go back in with an 8 row to clean up the edges, let's say. But here with the Adaptive Flex technology, you could get a 16 row articulated head, and it's like 2 8 rows head on each side. Yeah. So then you go into the field just one time, saving time, saving hassle, saving the number of pieces of equipment that you actually need to work your ground.
Well, and I love too with how that the head flexes along the topography, as you mentioned. Obviously, our fields are different from field to field. Nothing's perfect. You know, the technology that you guys are able to develop, it really truly helps with the efficiency for the farmer. And you know, what amazes me, I guess, Bill, is the way technology has gotten here in 2024. I'm always blown away by the different things that I hear about. And, you know, with your guys' Adaptive Flex technology, it's no exception. I mean, you guys build it as the world's most flexible corn head, right?
Yes.
And just thinking about the ease of use for farmers, and I know you guys talked with a lot of farmers, of course, as well, in developing this, didn't you, Bill?
Yeah, well, we have to listen to our customers, right? We have to make what our customers like. Otherwise, you aren't in business for 144 years. And if that's a constant tenet of the way that you're doing business is providing value for your customers, then you will remain in business.
Yeah.
And also with the Adaptive Flex, so let's say the most flexible, a 12 row, it can go up on the left hand or right hand side plus 50 inches. So that's over 4 foot. A 16 row is 68 inches, and an 18 row is 75 inches. That's as tall as I am, right? So that is a lot of movement that you've got in that corn head. But also, we heard it at the show, and that's why one of the reasons why we're at the show is we get feedback. If we don't have feedback, we don't know where we're at. So they said, build us a folder.
Build us a folder. Well, we'll pick up that thought here after the break. We're going to talk more about Adaptive Flex technology. We're going to talk drapers and more with Geringhoff here on Market Talk. Back with more from the Farm Machinery Show right after this. And we are back here at the Farm Machinery Show in Louisville, Kentucky with our friends at Geringhoff. Having a great day here at the show. Great crowds. A lot of folks are working around and asking questions and taking a look at all the new products and asking about different things they can utilize on their operation. And a special thanks to our friends here at Geringhoff for having us today. We are talking with their president, Bill Dickhout. And Bill, before the break, we were on the Adaptive Flex technology train and talking about the corn head. And you mentioned something to me here during the break that I wanted to really highlight. Just talking about, you know, as folks have come up and look at things, they're asking questions about maintenance and grease points and things like that. And you guys have really, really boiled down the science to make things easy for them and provide a lot of help, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. And we talked about it before the break that we heard here at the show, make us a folder on that AFT, another problem for our engineers to solve, and they were happy to do it. But that's the feedback that we get from the marketplace. And here at the show, it's a great venue for us to get the feedback. Where are we and what do we need to do? And we've got our customers that are looking for a new head, but we also have customers that have a head that's maybe 10 years old or 11 years old, and they've got some questions about maintenance, right? And those are things that we can go straight to our display, take a look at it, and show them exactly how to take things apart and put them back together. And that's also one of the things, we've done it before, so we've mashed our fingers so that you don't have to. So if you do have questions, or if any Geringhoff product, if it's new or used, if it's Geringhoff on the side, then we support that. And that's why we have our product support hotline. If you've got questions about how to do things, or you're having issues in the harvest, please call us. We've got a lot of experience combined to find answers for you so that you can be successful if it's a maintenance project or if it's a harvesting issue.
Now, thinking about the AFT technology, I know you mentioned this as well. Some folks, they've come up to the booth and you start talking to them, and they say, "Oh, you guys have a draper head too."
Yeah.
And so let's talk about some of the draper products that you guys have. Tell us a little bit about what's in the lineup from Geringhoff.
So the draper is it's not a new product, but it's fairly new for Geringhoff. So
Sure.
we've had it since 2015, 2016.
Okay.
We really entered the U.S. market around 2018. And what we have in our offering, our flagship, is the TrueFlex Razor. And what that is, it's a 3-part draper head that has 3 almost equal parts, a 3-part reel, and we have it in 35, 40, and 45 foot. And it is the most flexible in the marketplace. It goes up 4 degrees, down 4 degrees, down 5 degrees on each wing. Has about a 10-degree tilt, and it has a fully flexible cutter bar that has 6 inches of travel. So if we're looking at a 35 foot, that's up to almost 26 inches of total flex, which is, almost double of what the competition is.
Well, and I think about this too, as our operations get bigger and we're working long hours and thinking about the flexibility and all the technology you guys have put into the draper head. I mean, things like, you guys are catching beans that some other competitors might miss with their heads. I mean, aren't you? There's things like that go into your guys' draper head that really help kind of maximize things in the field for a producer, don't they, Bill?
Yeah, correct. And we call it the razor because it gets right down to the ground and hugs it. And we have an active flex system, so it's hydraulically driven. It's not springs moving the wings, it's hydraulics, and it's clamping that down to the ground, putting force on it so that you can tilt it down and know that it's not going to bounce back up.
And that's I think going, talking the AFT side and talking the razor on the draper side, I bring it back to flexibility. It's just it's so important, I think, to have options and have a great quality product on the front of your combine out in that field. As at the end of the day, we got to maximize our ROI is what it's all about.
Yeah,
right?
Of course, you didn't prepare the land, you didn't plant the land, you didn't nurture the land during the growing season so that you leave the crop in the field, right?
Yeah.
And you want that in your head, you want it in your combine, you want it in your buggies, and then you want it in your silo.
Definitely. Well, and of course, knowing your guys' products, I mean, whether we're green, red, black, yellow, whatever the case is, I mean, talk about that a little bit. Your guys' heads obviously fit on many different makes and models, right?
Yeah, worldwide.
Yeah.
Worldwide. So, and that's really where our strong point is. We fit on every model, and we have strong relationships with different manufacturers, but Geringhoff is always on the side of it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you buy, let's say, a Geringhoff head for a case this year, you buy a different combine, let's say in 3 years, 4 years, or 5 years, then you can change our head over if it's to a case or if it's to another brand of combine.
Sure.
That helps also with the resale value as well.
Yeah. Well, and and I think too, that's to that point, maybe there's some of those folks out there who have a Geringhoff head and they've had one for 5, 6, 7, 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's time to think about a new one. And obviously here in the booth, you guys have a couple of these great products that we've been talking about. So, I mean, very easy for folks to look at doing trade-ins, or if they haven't experienced the Geringhoff product, they can take advantage of getting a new one very easily through dealer network, online. I'm sure a lot of different ways to get in touch, isn't there, Bill? Talk about that.
Yeah, definitely. So we do have, of course, social media presence. We have a internet presence, but we work very closely with our dealers. And Geringhoff is a very strong dealer network. And you can find your Geringhoff dealer. You can also find your Geringhoff territory manager if you do have some questions on the best place to go for what they're needing to do.
I know in terms of 2024 and where agriculture is at, I think there's a bright future ahead. I mean, just some of the conversations you've had with farmers here at the show this week. I mean, what are you hearing from them? What's the biggest thing they're wondering about on the equipment side? Maybe you could share that, your perspective as president of Geringhoff. What have you been hearing this week?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, there's a lot. I've been hearing a lot of interest. Especially on the new items,
Sure.
Also the AFT, and also the question, is that something for my operation, or am I doing good where I'm at? Also, a lot of times it's the question, if I'm at a 12 row, do I go to the 16 row? And then it's the question, which everybody's going to have: how am I feeding my buggies right now, and my trucks, and my co-op, or do I need to make changes there too? Because it's all a change process. So that's what I've been hearing. A lot of interest on the product, and a little bit more on the details. What's the benefit here? There's been quite a bit of mention about fuel consumption as well, which I haven't heard in previous years. We've had that on our radar, that's important, not just for the drive lines, but the cost of the inputs, and diesel is also an input.
Sure.
Yeah, and then just I think it's a mixed bag as far as the market goes.
Yeah, and I think when it comes down to it too, obviously, I hear this a lot from growers. To your point earlier, sometimes they're saying, "Well, how does this fit in my operation?" Sometimes some folks maybe a little slower to change things, but to the point of what you guys are doing here, and I kind of bring this home a little bit. With all the technology, whether it's the Razor or the AFT technology, just trying to make things easier for growers, right? Make things simpler on the farm.
Yeah, make it simpler. Also give options. There's nothing as constant as change.
Sure.
Yeah, and so also a good discussion this week about 15-inch spacing. Someone who is really very interested in on marginal land, and that has a place. And like you said, it depends on the operation. And what the operation is doing right now, the success level, and if you need to make a change or not.
Definitely. And that's what it comes down to. Bill, we got about a minute here before we wrap this segment. Real quick again, give us a plug if folks aren't going to be able to attend the Farm Machinery Show and they want to get in touch with Geringhoff, check out products, dealers, online, social media, etc. Can you give us a quick rundown of things real quick again?
Well, check us out on social media. We're on most of the platforms. Also the website, geringhoff.com. There you'll find all of the relevant information. We are at a number of shows, so if you're here at the show, please stop by, take a look, get a card, get a catalog, get a contact, get answers to the questions you might have, and then also at other shows in the future. As well as the Commodity Classic coming up.
I'm seeing, there you go, Commodity Classic. Hard to believe that's already 2 weeks away, right, Bill?
Well, it is the Louisville show right now. So.
Yeah, it is, and it's show season in general. But hey, really have enjoyed the conversation and appreciate the time. I know we're going to talk with Craig Lee from Geringhoff coming up here at the end of the show today. He's going to give us some more thoughts and perspective on your guys' products. But Bill, really appreciate you having us here. Thanks for joining us on Market Talk today, and we'll look forward to talking again soon.
Yeah, Jesse, thank you very much. It was a pleasure, and thank you for having me.
Bill Dickut there, president of Geringhoff. We're going to talk markets. Not a good day in the markets Thursday. Brian Doherty with Total Farm Marketing will join us after this here on Market Talk. And welcome back here to Market Talk, live from the National Farm Machinery Show in Louisville, Kentucky. And we are with our friends at Geringhoff. And joining us now for this segment as we wrap up the program, Craig Lee, Director of Sales for Geringhoff. Craig, it is good to talk with you. And thanks again for having us here with you at the Farm Machinery Show.
Well, thank you for having me. It's Pleasure to be here.
Well, let's talk a little bit. At the beginning of the show, we talked with Bill quite a bit about your adaptive flex technology and your draper heads and more. And I know just throughout the wide spectrum of products that you guys have, really, you guys offer so much in terms of residue management and things like that. So give us your perspective on some of the technology you guys have employed here at Geringhoff and how it can benefit producers. Let's start there.
Okay. Well, like you said, Geringhoff probably has more configurations of corn heads and even draper heads than anyone on the market. We could build a head anywhere from a 15-inch row spacing on up to a 40-inch row spacing in widths anywhere from 12 feet to 60 feet. We've built a 24 row 30 corn head before. So, but a big part of the corn head is the processing system and kind of what's underneath the row unit. So we have about 4 different types of processing systems, depending on what you want that stalk and plant matter to look like once you've harvested it. So we start out with our basic 2-roll knife roll system. We call it the North Star, and this is kind of your traditional knife to knife system. And if you want it a little bit more aggressive, we've got a new rollout since last year called the North Star XDC. And what that XDC means, it's extreme decomposition. So what that's going to do is take that plant and put it in about a 2.5 to 3.5 inch chunk, and it tends to leave that chunk kind of more around the standing stalk. And so it leaves the center of the row a little bit cleaner, so that if you're in a no-till situation the next year, you can come right back in with that no-till planter and go right between the rows. And also because of the way it sizes it, it actually breaks down very, very quickly and return that plant matter back to the soil and works very well. From there, we go to the North Star Horizon, which is a 2-roll knife roll system with a swinging blade under it. This is kind of the traditional so-called chopping head. The advantage of it is you can turn the chopping on and off by simply switching a lever on the gearbox. So we have that version that's become more and more popular. And then we have our tried and true Rotodisc, which is the Geringhoff exclusive, kind of a premier chopping head that utilizes 3 rolls. And it's been on the market since 1997. So that's probably the best overall in terms of plant destruction that there is. So.
Well, and I think about this too, and in terms of the way equipment is changing here in 2024 and really the last couple of years, and with all of your guys' products at Geringhoff, just you guys have been able to adapt well to an ever-changing equipment market, because it's definitely changing. I mean, Craig, we take a look around here at this show and all the new products that are coming online, bigger combines and things like that. So you guys have really been able to kind of stay with this and adapt to help producers, right?
Sure. And that's one of the advantages of the Geringhoff. We can fit any brand of combine. So if a producer happens to have one brand this year and purchases a new corn head, and a couple years down the road maybe changes colors of combines, you can adapt our head to fit over that, not necessarily have to get the new head. But we recognize the trend in the machines getting bigger and bigger, and so we're trying to build bigger and bigger headers. I mentioned the 24 row 30 corn head. And as they get bigger, they have a need to maybe flex, such as where the AFT fits in really well. Right now, drapers, we've got 45 foot. We're working on 50, and then beyond that, who knows? There's certainly competitors out there that have some even larger than that, and we think that's kind of where it's headed. As the machines get bigger, they need a big head on the front to feed that machine and get the most productivity out of it, as well as the number of operators is going down. So perhaps the machines will get bigger, but the number of machines might get smaller. So that's where we see the need for the bigger headers.
Well, I think about this too, and it's something that Bill mentioned earlier, the fact that, Geringhoff, you guys are a family-owned company. You guys have so many great experts like yourself that, if producers are hesitant to change, new things sometimes could be a thing, but you guys really could work with folks to find the right head for their operation that's going to fit their needs as things change, to your point, right?
Right. Fitting the best configuration to the operation is certainly something that we can do as territory people, and our dealers are trained to do that. probably one of the things that really sets us apart for a company our size is our product support after the sale. We have a team of product support reps that work exclusively for Geringhoff and help our dealers troubleshoot problems and make sure that the machines are adjusted right so that they can do the best job for the customer in the end. All of our headers come with a factory standard 2-year warranty. This is as comprehensive a warranty as anybody has in the industry. So we really stand behind our products, and we have to, or we wouldn't have existed since 1880 if we didn't take care of the customer and build a good product. So.
Very true. Very true. Well, Craig, great thoughts. Before we run out of time here, for folks who maybe aren't making it to the Farm Machinery Show this year, I know you guys are going to be at Commodity Classic, of course, if they're going there in a few weeks. But if they want more information, I'm sure reaching out to a local dealer online, a lot of great ways to get in touch.
Well, sure. You can go to Geringhoff.com and look at the dealer portal or dealer locator, I guess would be the proper term for that, and to see where your neighboring dealer is. Also, a lot of our territory managers have contact information there, so we're very accessible and try and line you up with the Geringhoff product the best that we can.
Definitely. Well, Craig, appreciate the time. Real quick, you got that elevator pitch for me. What would you say for folks if they're thinking about getting a piece of Geringhoff equipment? What would you tell them?
Well, again, I just think it's probably that has the most flexibility of any machine on the market in terms of what we can do and the various models that we have. We probably have more adjustment within our machines once you get it to help you in all conditions. And then the product support is really just a huge asset.
Fantastic. Craig Lee with Geringhoff. Thanks for joining us here on Market Talk and having us with you at the Farm Machinery Show. We appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
We're out of time. Thanks for joining us today here on the show. I'm Jesse Allen. Have a great rest of your day.